going to go to Fort Knox, the fabled Fort Knox, to make sure the gold is there.
Where would the gold have gone?
If the gold isn't there, we're going to be very upset.
Is it there? We hear it's there, but President Trump says he's going to find out. He says his team will go to Fort Knox, the iconic and heavily guarded depository for American gold reserves, and confirm that all the gold is there. Now, Fort Knox reportedly holds 147.3 million ounces of gold. A recent push to audit Fort Knox is now hitting a fever pitch as Elon Musk shared social media posts casting skepticism of whether the gold is still there. Listen, that's been sort of a black helicopter theory, but look at gold prices. Including today, they have hit a record 9 times this year alone. And it's just pretty interesting to see the yellow metal go higher and higher. Year to date, it's up 11.7%. Joining me now in a Fox Business exclusive is a guy who's been dealing with gold for decades. Gold and silver pawn shop owner Rick Harrison. Oh, man, Rick, I mean, have you ever been to Fort Knox? Wouldn't you love to be there?
No, you're not allowed. No one's been allowed to look at the gold for over 50 years.
You have your own Fort Knox.
I mean, I'm just saying that, like, if everyone doesn't say no and we shouldn't audit it, we should probably audit it. You know, there's no good reason not to. And then when they start arguing that we should, it makes it even a better case for auditing it.
Absolutely. Tell me what traffic you've seen in buyers who come to your gold and silver pawn shop, because obviously you get a massive amount of traffic. I've been there. It's fascinating to watch. And even a year and a half ago, when I was last there, you told me that you were really getting a lot of pressure from people to buy gold. They really wanted to buy it.
No, I mean, I can't. My problem is like my suppliers are limiting the amount of gold they'll sell you, and gold and silver, because they can't get any in. I mean, it's gone absolutely nuts. I mean, you take like South Korea, they've banned retail sales here lately because the government's buying it all. Remember, we live in a world where we're printing money like confetti, and it's getting a lot of people concerned. I mean, the government's number one line item now is interest on the debt. It's $36 trillion. I mean, you're never going to be able to pay that off. So the only way to pay down the debt is either inflate the money supply or monetize the debt, which will cause inflation anyway. So yeah. That's one of the reasons why I think everyone's buying gold and silver.
There's a worry, though, about repricing the gold that's in Fort Knox, okay, this 147 million troy ounces of the yellow metal. And if you were to reprice it, because the last time the reserve was audited was back in 1974, and gold back then was like $43 or something like that per ounce. Now it could be worth.
I think the government still keeps it on its books at $35.
$35. Okay, $35. It's not $35 now. It's $2,490 or so per troy ounce. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. What do you see as a downside of repricing it?
If they're just going to keep the gold in the vault, there's no, it really doesn't affect anybody. They could sit around and say it's worth $1 million an ounce, but if they're not going to buy it or sell it at that price, it doesn't affect the general public. I think the reason people are buying gold is it's a hedge against inflation, and maybe not from year to year, but gold is up almost 50% the past year. But literally, 100 years ago, if you bought a really nice custom-made suit, it cost you an ounce of gold. 100 years later, it cost you an ounce of gold.
Interesting. Yeah.
A house used to cost right around a middle-income house used to cost like 40 ounces of gold. Now it costs like 40 ounces of gold.
What do you think inflation rates were in 300 BC? Because
I don't know. There was next to no inflation in 300 BC. By the way, this coin is from 336 BC. This is a coin minted by Alexander the Great.
Come on.
Yes. You see in my show, I have a lot of weird stuff. But back then, when we were on the gold standard, there really wasn't much inflation at all because you couldn't print money. Because the whole definition of inflation is increasing the monetary supply, which our government is doing at an astonishing rate right now. When you're adding $2 or $3 trillion a year to the monetary supply. It's going to cause inflation. You don't have a choice. Back in the day, when we were on the gold standard, you just couldn't print gold, and therefore it kept inflation in check. The bankers complained about it. They wanted more money in the system so they could loan more money, but that caused inflation.
Right.
Gold standard, it worked. It's worked for thousands of years, but we always have these brilliant bankers and government politicians that want to print money and get us off it.
Before we go, how much is that coin?
That's around $10,000.
$10,000. Okay, so about 4 ounces of gold, and let's see, maybe a little bit more than that.
It's right around a quarter ounce of gold. But this coin will probably buy the same amount of stuff today as it would 2,000 years ago.
Alexander the Great. Well, I wonder what he bought with it. Rick, it's great to see you. Thank you. You have a new podcast out with your Pawn Star colleague Chumley, and it's called Pawn After Dark. Good luck with that. Thank you so very much for joining us. It's great to see you, my friend.
Thanks. Happy on anytime. You are absolutely amazing.
Thank you so much. So good to see you.